Hi, everybody. It is Michelle Hill, your legacy builder at Winning Proof, and I am here with another Facebook Live Winning Proof Unscripted. And today I have my wonderful client, Michael McGinnis, and he is the founder and sports advisor consultant of Empowerment Sports Group LLC. Michael is a contract specialist and author of G.P.S. Guide for athletes and those who surround them. And I have to add something before I welcome you, Michael, is that if you were to outline a model client, Michael would be it. So he was great to work with. And I just had to say that. And another thing I have to say before I say welcome, Michael, is that his wardrobe people must have got together with my wardrobe people and created this blue thing. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Michelle, and I really appreciate the kind words. It means a lot, and I'm excited to spend this time with you today.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's dig in. Tell viewers a little bit about how you help your clients, what you do, and how you help them.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to, and I think especially in this time where we're really in uncharted waters, I think I've really been reassessing, my value add and my value proposition and what I feel is actually needed in the sports community and honestly the community at large. And I think it goes back to a lot of the pillars that we see and discuss in the book: education, just sharing resources and making sure everyone really understands what's behind what might seem to be something that, really you can't decode and understand. I think a lot of times people like to hide the ball, we'll say, and not share this information, especially as it relates to, the sports agency industry model, and they want to be the subject matter expert. But I really believe in educating athletes, their parents, and honestly, everyone that's involved in sports so they can understand what actually their function is and so they can do it to the best of their ability. And I think it's really important to empower, allowing these individuals to realize what they're capable of so they can actually achieve that max potential. Because I think a lot of times, there's self-doubt, life in general, we sometimes get in our own head, and just making sure you can kind of know that you already have everything you need to be successful. Now, some other people might be a resource and a value add to you, but you have everything you need. And I think it's reassuring and it's uplifting to refocus and recenter individuals. And I think the last component would be innovation, and especially in a time like now, finding ways where, how do you survive? The world is going to continue to change on a dime, hopefully not as drastically as COVID-19 has brought upon us as we move past this. But innovation is really the only way to ensure, survival, thriving, and things of that nature. So I would definitely say with my clients, it's about education, empowerment, and innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you do a great job of that because I've seen the results, and I've just seen how you interact with your clients, or just, I've kind of seen a 30,000 foot view. Yeah. So yeah, you live what you say.
I'll just add this thing that goes to the great welcoming you gave me, is that I think also you've learned everything you need to learn in life by kindergarten. I try to live my life by the golden rule. I wanted to be the best client for you because I hope that, that's what I would have, what someone would do in return for me. So it's maybe an oversimplification, but yeah, it's pretty much the pillar I'd like to live my life by.
No, and that is so true. And I try to do that same thing when I know I'm a client of somebody. I say, hey, I know what it's like to have great clients and maybe not so great clients. And so I try to be that model client too, because it just makes the journey so much easier and so much happier.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so what are some of the roadblocks you've encountered in life that could have stalled your progress, but instead provided rocket fuel to keep you going?
I would say not really. Again, it's kind of what I'm trying to provide to the marketplace and to the athletes and to the community at large: guidance. I think by not having guidance, I stumbled a lot, and it made it very difficult and not really realizing what to do, what not to do. And so I think in a weird way, by not having guidance, it fueled me to continue to persist and just have a trial by error approach. If I couldn't figure something out, I would just keep trying. And I think that by the lack of guidance, it's a little counterintuitive. It let me really find my own path. And I think especially in the time that we're all in now, where I've been able to walk in accordance with that and have that relentless spirit to know that I'm going to accomplish anything I just, aspire to, just because I'm going to pretty much continue until I either reach it or I'm deceased, because I think, not having that structure, not having that, this is the path to take. I just kind of pretty much became hell bent on just going to keep going no matter what. So in a weird way, that lack of guidance, I think it built up a spirit in myself where I'm just going to continue to try to persevere and try to persist through, any obstacle that's thrown my way.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think that that helps you deal with your clients? And because there's roadblocks on the athletic journey, that. And so do you think you're overcoming the roadblocks helps you enable and helps you empower your own clients to overcome the obstacles that they face?
Absolutely. And that's something that, again, I'm really trying to tap into at this current moment, is that vulnerability and personal development. I think that I'm a very analytical, logical person. And I think being at home for 5 months now with my family all day, every day, and just really trying to get more into the feeling of life and being able to really connect. And obviously with my family and with everyone, I feel like I can connect well with individuals. But I think that it helps me because I'm not running from areas where I need to improve. And I think that's one thing that's very unique about an athlete in general. If you're not good at something, people are going to know about it. And if you want to continue to be an athlete, you need to improve. And I think a lot of times we don't like to have that introspection and look in the mirror and figure out, how can I do things better? And I try to have that approach with my clients and let them realize these are mistakes that I've made. These are strategies that I've had success with, and we're going to go on this journey together. And so I think that that's been a really important part of it, is just being raw, being honest, being present. And hopefully that's something that can really, be of value to my clients, and honestly individuals I interact with, beyond that, just so they can, have a true connection with me.
Yeah, absolutely. That, and I think that helps your clients. If they feel supported, then they're going to persevere. If they feel they have you, you're their corner man.
Yeah. And I like to say, it's whatever your mission and vision is, you want to identify that, your why, and then just don't stop. Take that approach. I think we'd all be very, very happy with where we were in that journey of life.
Yeah, for sure. And when we first started the book journey, I asked you to describe yourself in 6 words. And you said, and I'll have to read them, you described yourself as a problem solver, people connector, servant leader, husband, father, and son. How do all those wonderful descriptions play into your role as sports advisor and contract specialist, and how do you balance your time between your clients and your family?
I think the synergy is very important in making sure that everything I do is just, it can align. And I think that there's something, and I forget, actually that's not true. I know exactly who said it, but I don't want to give that individual credit at the moment, just because of all the crazy things going on in the world. But it was a very successful individual that was kind of asked about work-life balance. And I loved the answer, because the response was about not seeing it that way and kind of having the harmony with your work and your personal life. And for me, this is a calling. This is something I feel I have a duty to, and I live my life in a way that maybe is not the right way, but I'm living my life for what impact I'm going to be able to provide in a positive way. And so when I'm interacting and I'm doing the work with, as a sports agent, a sports advisor, and a consultant for athletes in any capacity, it's what I'm meant to do, I feel, and it's what service I'm meant to provide. And so I feel like it's something that it aligns always. I want them to interact with my family. I bring my family everywhere. When I was, I know we spoke before on the live, I was in Lake Elsinore. Technically that was like a little mini vacation, you could say, but really it was business. And I was really down there interacting with my clients, supporting, but who was right there with me? My 2 little partners in crime and my wife, because it's just, this is our lifestyle. And also making sure that I have the time to unplug, but it truly is a part of my identity and what I feel my purpose in life is. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we were live, we were talking about that, taking time. I've instituted a once a month get out of Dodge and detox day, which I took yesterday. And, we were talking about if we don't have, as self-employed people, we don't have a boss telling us, take your days off or you're going to lose them. Take your days off. we have to institute that into our schedule. So how are you and your family doing that? We talked a little bit about that, but you take some mini vacations?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. And I think that's what we're trying to do is just build in time. So the mini vacations has been a little cadence where it's just getting away, allowing my boys to be out in nature and just really just enjoy the moment. I think being present is something we're really trying to focus on because we're always together, but we're always together doing business at times. And my older son Isaac is now in virtual kindergarten. So it's just trying to be as present in those moments that we have, that some days it's an hour, some days it might be 10 minutes. And trying to adopt new habits. That our new thing that's been happening in the last few weeks is we're turning into a little bit of a board game family. So we bought Trouble, Sorry, Don't Break the Ice. So just different things that we can do that's something we can look forward to. That is it's a ritual. It's a habit that we know after dinner, we're going to play some board games. We're going to talk about our day. And so just really just being present, I think, is the biggest part, and finding those little habits and rituals that we can add into it so that, the productive time can be as productive as we can hope for. And when it's not, it's okay. It's life. And then the family time can be times where, we're going to build those memories that, I hope for years and generations to come will be something that's recalled upon.
That is awesome. I love the board game thing, because that is just, that gives your boys, there might be some like, in between the competition part of it, because, we know boys are boys, but it's just like the time with you, the time with your wife, the family time together. I think that is absolutely priceless.
Yeah. No, and you bring up a good point too, because kind of knowing the world that I'm in, I want my boys to be competitive and driven, but also to be great sports. And that's something that, again, they're 5.5 and 3.5, but I've already seen them since we've been playing. We've probably played games for like at least a year or so with my younger son, now that he's kind of coming full circle and just being a little bit more developmentally able to. But we laid the ground rules that we want to have fun. Obviously, you want to win, but if you don't win, we're still having fun. So it's like kind of, just really instilling the skills and the perspective that I hope that it might sound like it's just a game of trouble, but really, I think, it can apply to a lot of aspects of life. So I don't know, I just try to find the lesson in anything, and a lot of the books and a lot of things that I've been consuming during this time to realize that every moment's an opportunity. So make the most of it.
Yes, and your boys are the benefactors of your and your wife's, parenting and union of just trying to raise great boys, great young men who will turn into, and they're boys now, they're young, but they'll turn into tweens and then teens and then young men and then fully grown men. And I think you're really laying a foundation for them, a really strong one.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a heck of a ride, but it's best one yet.
That's awesome. So let's turn a corner and I want to ask you, why did you decide to write your book?
So I think it really goes back to a lot of what we discussed. I think on probably the first question is that I just feel in life in general, and especially in the world of sports, information, again, life, let's take it a little bit high, higher level, in the sense that I think we struggle with understanding what to believe, what not to believe, who to trust, who not to trust. And a lot of that probably comes back into our own identity of not believing in ourselves and not having the understanding and the discernment for ourselves. And so as I looked to develop myself and to sharpen myself up, I also feel like, it's the old adage, iron sharpens iron. I just want people to feel that there are resources out there that they can rely on that are not self-serving. Like, obviously it can be commerce and you can pay for services and things of that nature, but it should truly be a value add and it should be applicable and actionable. And so I felt that at a time, when we first started the project, I guess over 2 years ago now, that, the sports world was in a time where the attention was going to the wrong places and the emphasis was not where I felt it should be. And so I really wanted to decode the system and really unpack what's going on, where we are currently, and where I think we can go, which would be a better potential solution for everyone and all the stakeholders. And so that's what just spurred me to put that material out there and to hopefully take us in a new direction. Or I shouldn't say me, but necessarily hopefully push us further in a direction that I do feel we're already going.
Yeah. And can you tell people a little bit about, like, give them a short summary of what the book is about, and then maybe three main points of what a reader can take away from the book when they read it from cover to cover? What can they expect to glean from it?
Yeah. So I think the book was meant to be a guide. It was meant to be a manual to really understand, from as small as little league sports to if you're at the height of the highest of high and you're, Mike Trout, LeBron James, insert your favorite all-star athlete. What does the process look like? What are the steps you should be taking? And what are some of the actions you should be avoiding to align with you achieving that goal? And I think the big things I want individuals to take away from the book is that, one, it's possible. I think a lot of times we see, oh, I want to have a sports goal or a dream or aspiration, and it's not possible. And everyone tells you what you can't do. Now, again, not everyone is going to be Mike Trout. Not everyone is going to be LeBron James. Name your favorite star. But just through the skills and the experience of playing sport at any level, you are going to be transcendent. And I think that everyone should be able to have opportunities to see really where they stand and where they can potentially go. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is I hope I can expand people's minds in the sense of what's possible from sport, and not just think about it in the standard, it's a workout, it's a big paycheck, it's celebrity, it's all these other things that, again, it's truly what you make it. And I hope I can expand people's mindset as it relates to sports and what that business really looks like and what it can be. And then I also want people to realize the power that you have as an individual. I think a lot of times we always think it's the coach, it's the parent, it's the scout, it's the agent. A lot of times we want to give credit to everyone when that's true. But at the end of the day, an athlete has to realize their own potential and has to be able to understand that sometimes you need to block out the rest of the world and focus on truly your impact and what you want and live in accordance with that. So I think it's a way to really help, add a tool to the tool belt of athletes to have them understand just how much value they bring and respect and appreciate themselves as an individual. And then lastly, I think it really is providing a solution on a system that is mutually beneficial. I think the sports industry that we live in now, and we all love and we enjoy, is not really that beneficial to everyone. Sure, you might get value at some point in the process, but the vast majority really are taken advantage of. And that's from all aspects. I'm not blaming, I'm not scapegoating, but it's not a system that really appreciates and gives more than it takes. I think it's a system that takes more and gives less. And so I think that there is a model where we can move forward that is a lot more collaborative and a lot more evenly distributing opportunities and access.
Yeah, and that's why you talk about in your book the new model of, it has been the model of sports agent. Mm-hmm. Sports law attorney, sports agent, and you really want to bring people, and maybe your clients, I'm sure your clients as well, into an advisor, a sports advisor, like you say in the book. And that's the new model that you want to really gravitate to with your clients, but as the industry as a whole, you'd like to see it go in that direction. Why?
Well, and I love it, and not to be, law nerdy, but so an agent acts on your behalf, which is great. I understand it. That's, there is a part of that. I'm not saying it's going to maybe go away completely, but an advisor is there with you. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that I think on this process and how I conduct my business, I want to walk with my clients through the process. I don't want to be the one directing them to go a certain way that might not be in accordance where they actually want to go. And so I think that's a really key component, is that I have my function, I have my job, and it's truly a partnership. I'm not acting, again, I'm sure their intentions might be to act in their best interest, but I'm acting in accordance with their interests as opposed to independently. So I think that's a big part of it for me, is that the distinction of really doing it together.
Yeah, and I think an advisor too is more along the role of, you're with that athlete all along the journey, where an agent, maybe sometimes show me the money, and then when the athlete is not playing anymore, see ya. So I think the advisor role is much more conducive to a player's lifespan, where you're really staying with that player. You're trying to get them to be successful post sports as well. You're advising them on, here, this might be a good a vocation for you, or this might be, check this out or this out. And so they don't feel like I'm injured, I'm done, I'm worthless, and so many of the things that I've heard and talked to athletes about, that you can help them post career in getting some direction.
Yeah, it's about the whole person. If someone wants an individual to work with them that just likes their, genetic ability, their, the ability that they've crafted over, again, hard work and things of that nature, that's important. But that's where we start. That's not where I look to go with my clients, athletes, and things of that nature. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and as you worked on your book, and I tell everybody, I think I say this probably in every Facebook Live I do, but now that writing a book is not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of moving pieces. So what did you learn about yourself through your book writing process?
I think I learned I'm a little more creative than I thought. I think I'm very left brain, and I think, I don't have those skills, but it's just practicing them, taking a chance to try to do something, stepping outside of your comfort zone, because I wanted the material to be out there, but I also didn't realize the process of what it would look like to actually bring it out. And so I think that's what I learned, is that I have a little more in me than I maybe thought I might have had. And I think by stepping out of your comfort zone and by trying things that, you feel convicted by, something good can happen.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say before I ask you how people can get in touch with you and buy your book? Do you have a final comment you want to make?
Just, I'm grateful for the opportunity and connecting with you and getting to, dive in a little bit deeper in the process and hopefully sharing it. And that I hope individuals are able to find some value and we can go on this journey together, because again, I believe in collaboration. And so I'd love to, like you said, get to the part of speaking about how I can be, how I can communicate and be accessible to others. So thank you, Michelle. That's really it.
Yeah, you're awesome. So
I appreciate that. As viewers as well.
As a client, as an individual, as a family man, I just really have a high respect for you.
No, please, likewise. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and so how can people contact you if an athlete is out there and they need representation, if they want to talk to somebody, how can they reach you and how can they buy your book?
Sure. So you can read, my website is empowermentsportsgroup.com, and on social media, I'm either at Sport Law Doc or Michael McGinnis, my name. Either one, you probably could search either one and you could find me. And yeah, I'm very accessible on all of those platforms. Feel free to reach out, send me a message. I'd love to connect. I'd love to engage, and not just for athletes, for anyone. If you're just interested, mom, dad, anyone that has sports in their life and that it is important part of their life, and I could be of value because of that, reach out.
Yeah, well, this is, let's see, I'm trying to get the direction. This is Michael's book, and you can see from the bottom is how to empower your sports goals, navigate the process, and steer towards success. So that, it's for athletes and those who surround them. Mm-hmm. So yes, parents, coaches, everybody.
It takes a village,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You as well, Michelle. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Well, thank you. And I just want to tell everybody, thank you for watching another episode. I'm new at this. I'm getting used to being on camera.
And so you're great at
it. Thank you for being a part of this and for another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted. And I will be back on, I believe it is Monday. Yes, Monday at 4:00. And stay tuned for another one. So have a great weekend, everybody.